From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
Montana Attorney General asking for a big budget increase for his department. Totals millions of dollars. Why he says that money is urgently needed. Just ahead.
A large company that could hire hundreds of people in the Butte area may add its name to this sign. I'll tell you what they need to get here.
I'm Joe St. George in western Iowa. We're about 12 months away from the Iowa caucus. What's the opinion of the most conservative voters in the state regarding former President Donald Trump? Can he truly win the Republican nomination again? We attempt to answer one of the biggest questions in American politics next.
By the way, they need a sign.
Do they?
Well, that's what John said. But what do they need to get here?
Sign.
Their sign on the wall. They need a sign, so that's what they had. More to follow. That's actually a really great story for the mining city. We'll have that in a moment. Meantime, it is Groundhog's Day, the spirit animal of the weather world.
It's a spirit animal, all right.
It was only 40% accurate. It seems to me that if he said there's 6 more weeks of winter every year,
he
it would
be
up
accurate.
his numbers
That's
every single
exactly
time,
right. Which he said there would be 6 more weeks of winter this year.
Right.
So,
yeah,
I bet he's right.
Good job, Phil.
All right. He needs to pick correctly. By the way, next week, all our dad jokes in the middle of the commercials, it's going to take on a new flavor.
It will
Jane
take
McDonald,
on a new flavor. We're going to add a very
show.
special member to our team. Jane McDonald will be joining us on
be
Monday as a full-time member of this organization. We're super happy to have her come on board.
She has to have a thick skin and a good sense of humor, so she's got both.
We'll help her out with both of those.
That's right. Temperatures this morning a little chilly. There are some icy areas out there. Our skies are relatively clear. We do have some cloud cover trying to roll back in here. Daytime highs back into the 30s.
That was a cool effect.
I couldn't do that. I'm guessing that came from our control room. Daytime highs back into the 30s. We're going to talk about our snow chances and what our snowpack looks like right now. That's coming up here in the next 10 minutes.
All right, thank you, Matt. 6:32 now. Travelers on Interstate 90, southern Montana, the last couple of days, not been so happy. Stretch of road between Big Timber and Livingston closed for almost 24 hours. It forced many to stay where they were, but some had to get creative. When the gates were closed on I-90 on Tuesday, traffic quickly came to a halt, of course. Some sought shelter in area hotels. Others turned around, tried to head back to where they started. According to the National Weather Service, 2016, the last time that stretch of Interstate 90 was closed. First on December 18th of that year, then again on New Year's Eve, when an entire 75 miles actually of Livingston clear to Columbus was shut down for more than 5 hours. Authorities say roads the past couple of days have looked more like skating rinks than highways. In other headlines, the Montana House has given initial approval to a package of budget and tax bills, including several tax policies endorsed by Governor Greg Gianforte. Yesterday, House members passed 6 bills on an initial vote. Together, they allocate about $1 billion from the state's more than $2 billion budget surplus and make additional longer-term changes to tax rules. The measures would use $480 million of the surplus to provide income tax rebates of up to $1,250 for those filing individually, $2,500 for those filing jointly. Another bill will exempt businesses from the state's business equipment tax if they have less than $1 million in equipment. Another part would replace the current tax deduction for long-term capital gains with a reduced tax rate for those gains. Would also use about $280 million in surplus funds to provide property tax rebates of up to $500 each of the next 2 years on Montana property owners' primary residences. You can see a full list of the proposals by visiting our website. Staying at the Capitol, the Montana Executive Branch proposing a big investment in the state's public safety budget for the next 2 years. Jonathan Ambarian finds out what the governor's office is hoping to add and why he says it's an investment that's needed.
On Wednesday, Attorney General Austin Knudsen said despite being a fiscal conservative, he's asking the Montana legislature for a significant budget increase because his department needs more resources to keep up with public safety needs.
Simply put, we cannot keep policing in Montana like it's still 1995.
Knudsen opened the Montana Department of Justice's presentation to a legislative budget subcommittee. The department is seeking an increase of more than $30 million for the next 2 years, about a 14% increase.
Our population is increasing, drug crime is increasing, violent crime is rapidly increasing in Montana, and it's time we recognize that. We simply need some more resources.
The additional funding would pay for new investigators in the Division of Criminal Investigation, focusing on human trafficking, narcotics, and other major crimes. It would also support 5 new Montana Highway Patrol troopers and a salary increase for current troopers. Knudsen said his current staff are under pressure from a growing caseload. He said meth and fentanyl are among the biggest issues.
There's absolutely no question we are seeing an astronomical increase in drug trafficking into Montana. Yeah, that's not a function of us policing better and just finding more of it.
The DOJ's proposal is only part of a broader public safety push in Governor Greg Gianforte's budget plan. Lawmakers also heard testimony this week on plans to invest about $200 million into the Montana State Prison. Knudsen's budget request also includes $5 million for an updated computer system for the Motor Vehicle Division, which leaders say will significantly improve wait times for customers. In Helena, Jonathan Amberian, MTN News.
6:35 now. Half a century ago, Montana's Constitution revised to the form that we use today. Yesterday, a crowd gathered at the Capitol to make sure that document stays that way. Tom Buchanan explains why it's so important to those who joined the rally.
A We the People rally took place at the Capitol on Wednesday afternoon. The event was organized by the Northern Plains Resource Council and featured such speakers as former Governor of Montana, Mark Roscoe, and former legislator Dorothy Bradley.
An estimated 200 people showed up to support the rally.
Change in the Constitution is warranted once in a while, but not wholesale.
The event was co-sponsored by various organizations such as Forward Montana, ACLU Montana, and Friends of the Montana Constitution. Montana's current and second constitution was adopted in 1973. Over that time, there have been 34 amendments made to the document. Currently, there have been 56 requests for possible amendments during this legislative session alone, and 1 bill introduced. Those rallying felt that there are too many requests for possible amendments being brought forward and want to help maintain the current protections and rights of the Montana Constitution.
We really want the Constitution kept as it is, as a whole. We appreciate every part of the Constitution, and people of Montana don't probably even understand how many rights they have that they enjoy that are under threat with these amendments.
Freistadt says that some of her biggest concerns over the amendments deal with the judiciary and the environment. In Montana, voters ultimately have the final say on all proposed constitutional amendments, with any proposed amendment appearing on the ballot during the next general election.
Reporting in Helena, Tom Buchanan, MTN News.
All right, on the national scene, the next presidential election may seem like it's far away, but in reality it's not. In fact, in just about a year, we will be reporting on the results of the first presidential primaries. That means major decisions are expected by governors, senators, a former vice president, and even the current president in the coming weeks. Our Joe St. George now with a closer look at the event that traditionally kicks off the presidential race, the Iowa caucus, and whether or not former President Trump is attracting the same level of support that he once had.
Now, before you say the Iowa caucuses don't matter that much anymore, I don't live there and I don't care, and that they're simply too far away, the reality is we're about 12 months away from the Iowa caucus, and the opinion of the voters here in this state could shape American politics for years to come.
The 2024 election.
And that is certainly the case with Iowa potentially affecting the political future of former President Donald Trump. While flags bearing his name still fly in some parts of the state, if you look closely, names of possible challengers are right alongside him. So what's good at this place?
What is good? You know what? Everything is good here.
For answers, we scheduled a dinner in a very specific part of Iowa.
This is kind of the heart of Republican politics.
We traveled to Lyon County, where 82% of the people here voted for Donald Trump in 2020. If Mr. Trump is going to cruise to the Republican nomination again, there would be signs of it here. Cody Hofert recently retired as the longtime Republican leader in town. Is it too early to be having conversations like this, or are people actually beginning to think about it?
Oh yeah, people are talking about it.
What's your pulse on where things are?
President Trump still has a lot of support here and a pretty good standing, but I think there's also opportunity for other candidates. You have to earn those voters every 4 years.
Some of those voters whose support will need to be earned are members of this group, the Golden Oldies. Would you vote for Mr. Trump again?
I would. He got a lot done.
What I liked about him is policies that he had.
We noticed something, though, during our chat. Most Republicans here would like to see others get in the race.
We need new blood, new, younger candidates. I like Nikki Haley.
I'll never vote for Trump. I hope DeSantis runs.
That perspective is consistent with some national polls, which suggest a competitive caucus is on the horizon. However, that won't necessarily be true for Democrats.
We are disappointed.
In the Iowa state capitol, Democrats are frantically trying to save their political tradition after President Biden suggested Iowa lose its first-in-the-nation status. He wants South Carolina to go first after criticism emerged that Iowa lacks diversity and caucusing is too time-consuming. Democratic Iowa House Leader Jennifer Kahn first.
If you give up on states like Iowa, pretty soon you're giving up on a lot of the heartland.
So while 2023 may just be beginning, 2024 campaigning will intensify soon. Iowa, for Republicans at least, poised to matter again.
In Iowa, politics never ends.
Joe St. George, Scripps News, Rock Rapids, Iowa.
All right, 640 back here at home. A California-based company considering building its largest plant and locating it in the Butte area. Our John Amy tells us it could employ hundreds of people.
A company that manufactures modular homes is considering opening a giant plant here in this industrial park south of Butte, bringing with it more housing and potentially hundreds of new jobs.
For one, it's job creation. It's working in the skilled trades area, and then also addressing the need of affordable housing.
Representatives from the San Diego-based company DeVel gave their proposal to the Butte Council of Commissioners recently about building a 450,000 square foot plant at the Montana Connections Industrial Park. This could be an $80 million investment that has been in the works for about a year and a half.
It's not a fly-by-night operation. It's real, and we're going to work with them to get to the finish line.
They proposed hiring as many as 400 people to build and ship manufactured homes in the plant.
Part of the reason why they're going public with this now is they need to gauge and find out can this community support this type of manufacturing facility.
DeVel says it would train workers and possibly provide housing for some of the workforce. Officials are confident the industrial park will meet the needs for this huge project.
This is exactly what we've been striving for, what Kristen's been working so hard to build in terms of making sure we have sites that have all the infrastructure near and are ready for this kind of development.
City officials say this plant would be a benefit to Butte.
When we're adding jobs and we're adding to our economy, that's when other places like retail and stuff, they're going to look at our community and say, hey, they're growing. This is a place that we need to build.
John Amy, MTN News.
Of course, we're going to continue to follow that story here on Montana This Morning. Right now, we're going to take a break, though. When we come